Hey Noam,
Hi, Gil. How are you doing?
thank God, Erev Tov.
Yeah, too.
Today we're going to continue with the Mishnah of chapter 3 of Bava Kama. We're going to finish chapter 3 this time. We have four Mishnayot, and this time it's more, the subject is Karen, and some interesting cases. Let's get going. I'm going to use a lot of Bartanura this time. Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
thank you. חטא שני שברים תמים שחוו זה את זה משלמים במותר חצי נזק. So two bulls or oxes. Where do we go here? Yeah. Um, that injured one in each one. They injured each other. So we pay half nezek because we're talking about um, a short time. So it's, the deen is chatzin nezek. So that part's clear. But this is bamotar. We're paying from the difference. Basically, if one of them it was 100 shekels and the other one was 50 shekels, so then the remainder, the fresh is 50 shekels, and chatzin nezek is 25 shekels. So that's pretty much how it would work there. Pretty straightforward math. Shnehem muadim
Hmm.
mishamim tar nezek shalem. This is just pure logic. If both of them were muadim, and we know that the deen for a shore that is muad, that means a shore that is presumed to do damage, or we already know it does damage, then it's full nezek, full damages. So you take the difference between them, and you pay. So if the difference between them was 50 shekels, like I said in the last case, now you pay 50 shekels, not 25. Echad tam ve'echad mu'ad. Now we have a difference between the types. Mu'ad batam mishalem ba'motar nesek shalem. This is just pure logic. If the one that's mu'ad, that's designated to do damage, hurts the one, gores the ox that is tame, then we pay the difference. The full no we pay the full the difference in their value. We pay the full damages
Hmm.
because it was. That's just the deen. It's just the way the law works. Tam b'muad. Now the opposite. Mishalem b'motar chatzi nezek. You pay half the nezek. So so far there's really nothing to comment on. It's all just straightforward. V'chen shnei anashim shechavlu zeh bazeh. Two people who hurt the other, Meshalmim Bamotar Nezek Shalem. We've already learned this concept that when it comes to Adam is presumed to be a damager, and it's always in it we pay full damages. So that's two people hurting each other. Now we say Adam b'muad, muad be'adam, me shalem b'motar nezek shalem. So a person now hurting, damaging an ox that was muad, um, and or muad against a person. Of course, we pay mezek shalem because both of them are presumed to be damagers. Muad, that's what it means. It's presumed to be a damager, and Adam is always presumed to be a damager. So far, this Mishnah is as easy as pie. Adam betam vitam be'adam. Adam betam mishalem b'mutar nezek shalem. If a person against a tame animal pays full damage because the person
He's
is
in
a
charge.
damager. Tom,
Yeah, he's in charge of his
uh,
deeds.
exactly. Tam be'adam mishalem b'mutar chatzi nezek. But if an animal that is not presumed to be a damager does damage, it's pay half the damage. So this Mishnah, so far, fairly long Mishnah, there's nothing really demanding of our brain power here. It's all very straightforward and logical. Then we have Rabbi Akiva Omer, Aftam she chaval be'adam mishalem b'motar nezek shalem. This is interesting. This is a little unexpected. Rabbi Akiva says uh, even a tam that hurt a person still pays nezek shalem. Now this is weird. You wouldn't think that because the deen for tam is chatzi
Half.
nezek. So Right. So basically, we learn from this that Rabbi Akiva has a difference with the sages, and his feeling is that that really, when it comes to a beast hurting a person, it's not mammon, and therefore it's not the same klal. Rather, we have a different klal, and he has to pay full damages. However, Chachamim, sages rule differently, and we go according to the Chachamim. So that's Rabbi Akiva's opinion, but in this case, it's not the accepted halacha. And yeah,
Do you want to read the Rabbi Ovadia?
you know what? Because we have 4 today, I'll
Okay,
maybe I'll just this
as
one's
you
just
wish.
too straightforward for that.
Okay, fine. Tet.
False advertising. Okay, tet. Shor shaveh maneh shenagach shor shaveh matayim. Okay, an ox that is worth 100 zuz, gores an ox that is worth 200, vena and vela yafachlum, and then the vela, the dead animal, the one that is dead from all this, isn't worth anything. No
So
telet
2,000.
ashor.
A nevela is
One more.
2,000. I said that the nevela
2,000.
is the 2,000. The one who used to worth 2,000. It now worth nothing. It's like vanish.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So it was once worth 2,000. Now it's worth nothing in the
Yeah.
first case. So the victim here, he takes the shore. I guess he takes the. Maybe we should look at Rav Adi Bartanur for this.
Now the first show is muad or tam. The 100 show.
Right. So let's take a look at Bartanur. I believe that the answer in all these Mishnayot is unless it says muad, it's always tam. So, but let's take a look at the Bartanura for Tet. Here we go. I'm not seeing Tet. I think it's a little further below.
Let me see. No, let's see the Aleph. Here. וכן הלכה. Here. וכן הלכה.
Okay. Yeah, this is basically, so you know what Bartanur is telling me here is read the whole Mishnah and then get to it, because the Chen Halacha comes near like the middle, and it's one long explanation of the whole Mishnah. So we'll get there, but first let's see what it says here. It says, I'll go up first to read the entire Mishnah. We'll translate it, or I guess we got a translation at the bottom.
We'll start with the Mishnah, and then we'll go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
fine. Here.
We gotta scroll up. So yeah, there we go. Okay, source of time.
100. Let's call it 100 ox and 200 ox.
Okay.
Makes it easier.
The owner that takes the goring ox as payment. Yeah. So and it says here, actually, the notes here, Tom pays half damage. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So, now we're on the second incident.
Right. Second one. Okay. Shor shaveh matayim, shenagach shor shaveh matayim. Now they're equal. They're both worth 200. Ve'enan vela yafachlum, and the carcass isn't worth anything. Amar Rabbi Meir, al zene amar, and he quotes Sefer Shemot, umachru et ashor achai vechatsu et kaspo. They shall sell the living ox and divide the money. Amar lo Rabbi Yehuda.
100 each.
Halacha. Yeah. Right. So Rabbi Yehuda says that's the halacha, but he goes on to kind of amend that remark, and he says, "Kiyamta umachru et ashor achai vechatzu et kaspo, v'lo kiyamta v'gam et amet yichatzun." So basically, the pasuk continues in the same place in Shemot. It says, so he says, so you fulfilled the beginning part, which says, and you shall sell the ox, the living ox, and divide its money. But you
Yeah, but
didn't
it's a problem.
fulfill.
There is a problem. Here, you see,
Yeah.
it was written in the before. I'm showing it to you. You see, ve'en nevela yafa klum. So if the nevela worth nothing, then how can he expect? How Rabbi Akiva can expect? Rabbi Yehuda can expect that they will divide what the die ox worth. It was nothing.
Very, very well stated, and I think that's probably why he says v'chen halacha. That's the halacha when the carcass isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
But when you have but how do you fulfill what the Torah verse says? Where does that come into the Mishnah? So he explains, and he goes on to say, ve'eze, how does this work? This is also a case where the ox is worth 200 and it gores an ox that's worth 200. But now we have a case where the carcass is worth something. It's worth 50 zuz. This one takes half the living round.
125.
Right. Right, 125. Right, because 100 and
100 for the
25
living one and 25 for the carcass.
Exactly. And this one takes half the living and half the dead. So basically, each one takes 125. And so maybe we take a look at what Bartanora says and v'chen halacha. But I think we did cover it. But let's take a quick look what he says. Oh, there it is. Thank you.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
V'dai. Yeah, thank you. V'dai chen halacha de maneh noten lo de hainu chatzi nezek. He takes 100 maneh is 100 shekels. That's half the damage. Aval ein ze shor ha'amor b'Torah. This is not the case of the ox stated in the Torah. The kiyanta machu et ashor achai v'gomer. Upluk the Rabbi Meir v'Rabbi Yehuda. They have a difference. These two rabbis. Who be shevach nevela, in the case of price appreciation of the carcass. Kigon shebishat mita lo eta shave klum v'nityakra achar kach v'ishave le'achila leklavim or le'mochra le'nochri. So basically saying it was worth nothing at the time of the incident, but then by the time we go to Din, all of a sudden it's worth something. The market changes for nevelot, and you could sell a carcass now for 50 shekels, so 50 zuz actually. So Rabbi Meir savar shevach nevela de nizak have velo shekil ba mazik klum ele noten lo chatzin nisko ve'ainu de kama Rabbi Meir al ze נאמר ומכרו את השור החי וחצו את כספו, כלומר שצריך ליתן לו דמי
חצי נזקו. צריך דמי חצי נזקו.
Okay. Oh, there you go. כלומר שצריך ליתן לו דמי חצי נזקו מדמי שור החי ואינו מנקה לו כלום בעבור השבח שהשפיכה נבלה. So he's saying Rabbi Meir says you pay the living ox, you don't deduct anything for the improvement in the price appreciation of the nevela. Rabbi Yehuda savar de חצי שבח נבלה דמזיק הווה, וכשבא המזיק לשלם לנזק דמי חצי נזקו, מנקה לו חצי שבח שהשפיכה הנבלה משעת מיתה עד שעת העמדה בדין. So the time between the time of the incident and the time that we're in court, it increased in value. We do make a deduction. Vainu de kama Rabbi Yehuda le Rabbi Meir קיימתם מכרו את השור החי ולא קיימתם וגם את the second part of the verse you didn't fulfill. Sorry, this is a bit longer than
Yeah, I know. It's okay. Just I need to switch the button. It's okay.
Okay. ולא קיימת גם את יחסון, שצריך לחלק שבח שהשפיע חמד ושקל למזיק פלגי. והלכה כרבי יהודה. So basically the difference, the real key difference in their dispute has to do with the price appreciation between the time of the incident and the time of Beit Din. And basically the practical difference between them is that the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, which is the accepted halacha, is lenient towards the mazik. And this is just basically how the halacha is learned out when it comes to Karen Tam. We have a case of we're lenient. That's why we're a chatzi nezek to begin with. The rabbis felt that this is a case wasn't expected. We didn't know that this was its nature, and we're very lenient. With the price appreciation, we're lenient to the owner of the damager, the unexpected damager, and even in this case, the damager, meaning the owner of the damager, gets to take half of the improvement in price. So he splits that with the one who was damaged. The Rabbi Meir was thinking, no, it should all go to the one who was damaged. And you might think that, but that's not how the halacha is.
Okay.
And there we go. That's the second of our.
Yes, but I think we should see if we can know, like while we are looking back, if we can approve that there was a purpose, the one who damaged the animal, that the carcass is worth something even more than what it used to be while it was alive. So we should prove that there was a purpose. He did it on purpose. He didn't with intention, because he knew that the carcass will be worth more than the living animal.
That's an interesting twist, and I'm certain, since everything comes up in the Gemara, that's discussed there. But the difference between you and me is you actually learned this Gemara. I think I never have. So anyway, okay. Or at least when I grow up, I may get there, but I haven't gotten there, and that's in the commentaries that I read on this Mishnah. So, but the basic halacha I'm sure of, that we're lenient in this case with short time, and that mazik gets to keep half together with the nizak, the one who was damaged. So we'll continue now with halacha yud, yud, and then yud aleph. We didn't do yud.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
It's a really long part to Nora.
No, sorry, that's fine. No, it is.
Okay, yud.
Yes.
Here we go. Yesh chayav al maaseh shoro upatur al maaseh atzmo. Interesting. There are times when a person is obligated for what his ox did, but he's exempt if he himself did it. Patur al maaseh shoro v'chayav al maaseh atzmo. And the opposite. There are cases where a person is exempt for the behavior of his ox, but he's liable for what he himself has done. So now we're going to explain. This is probably the most interesting of the Mishnah. They're all interesting. This is shoro shebiyesh patur, an ox that embarrassed in some way, like I don't know, it's like running towards a guy who rips its clothes off or something like that in public. He's embarrassed.
If he need to carry it on his back.
Oh, that's yeah. Okay, I think yours is. I've heard that before. So yeah, that's correct. So ve'ushabiyesh chayav. So if he himself embarrassed somebody, he's liable. But an ox never has the intention to embarrass somebody, and therefore there's no liability for that. Basically, there are several kinds of damage, and so far through chapter 3 of Bava Kama, we've only dealt with mamon, nezek, property damage. But basically, an animal is only responsible for damage. The other kinds of damage that there are ones that people pay, but not oxes. So here's a case where a person does damage, he's responsible, but not the ox. So we'll continue. Shoro shesimet in avdo, an ox that blinded the eye of the servant, the person's servant, the pilat shino pator, or he took his eye out, pator. V'ushe simet in avdo, the pil et shino chayav. But a person who blinded the eye of his servant or took his tooth out is chayav. That's explicit in the Torah. The Torah sets limits. Basically, an eved is property, and the shore, if part of your property does damage to another part of your property, there's no liability. But the Torah sets a limit on what you can't maim a person. You can't, even if he's your servant and he's your property, you're not allowed to do that. If you do that, you're chayav and you have to set him free.
Yes, sir. The Torah. Yes, the Torah said that there are 30 evarim that if you hurt your slave on them, then you must dismiss him. You must release him, let him go. So one of them, of course, is the eye, is a tooth, and so on. So that's exactly what it says. It said that Ushesimet en avdo, it means a Canaanite slave, Eved Knani. It's not a Hebrew Eved Knani, it must be. And then if you cause him to lose his tooth or his eye, you are responsible for the damage and you must release him. But if it's another guy, ox, that makes the same damage to the same slave, then you are patu, because you don't need to. It's not your fault.
I'm really glad you brought that up because I think I would have forgotten to bring it up. But you're right. When it says the eye or the tooth, just some of the limbs, but you're exactly right. Any limb, you're not allowed. Any exterior limb, you're not allowed to damage. And if you do, like you said, he's set free. Excellent point. We continue and it says, Shoro shechaval be'aviv mot chayav. If an ox damages its owner's father or mother, he's liable. You're liable for that. V'hu shechaval be'aviv mot patur. But if a person wounds his own father or mother, he's exempt. The reason for this is very simple. Is we have a klal that says I think kanle b'derabamine. So right, when you have like two situations arise, you just take the greater liability. So if I kill somebody, God forbid, I hurt my father, like draw blood, then it doesn't matter if I don't have to pay the damage for that. I'm subject to the death penalty now because I hurt my father. So we relax on the civil liability, and they just kill me. The Beit Din just sends me to back up to Shemayim. So that's how that works. So whereas if your ox runs into your father and you hurt him and he needs costs 1,000 shekels for his rehabilitation, you have to pay that, even though it's your father. It doesn't make a difference. So that's the principle here. So
and also your parents probably won't charge you.
They'll be very gracious about that. But according to the law, you're liable. And Shoroshi liket tagadish b'Shabbat chayav, v'ushi liket tagadish b'Shabbat patur. If ox kindles the pile on Shabbat, you're chayav for that. But if you kindle the pile on Shabbat, you're exempt because you're subject to the death penalty now. You're not allowed to. Right, exactly. That's the point. So you're not allowed to do then Shabbat, and therefore we waive the fine and we just kill you. Because he's liable with his life. And there you go.
Excellent.
Very interesting. And here we go for our final Mishnah.
For today.
Yeah. For the day, right. Thank you for clarifying that. שור שהיה רודף אחר שור אחר והוזק, זה אומר שורך הזיק, וזה אומר לא חי, אלא וסלקה, המשים מחברו עליו הראיה. Okay, an ox that was chasing after another ox, and one of them was damaged. This one says, it was your ox. This one says, no, it's your ox. This one says, was this one says your ox did it, and the other party, the one who owned the ox, it was the goring ox, says no, it was you was struck by a rock. The one who makes a claim has the obligation of proof. This is one of the cardinal rules of all of Jewish business law. It comes up again and again. When it comes to mammon, it's not in the case of other situations in Jewish law, but when it comes to money, if I'm making a claim, I have to be able to prove it. The one who even presumably did the damage is not liable until the one making the claim proves his case in Beit Din with witnesses. So we continue, and you're going to see throughout this Mishnah, it's a constant. Each side is jockeying for a better position. So here we go. Hayu shnayim rodfim achar echad. Ze omer shorcha yizik, v'ze omer shorcha yizik. Shneim pturin. So you have two people this time chasing after one ox. So here we have a case where they cancel each other out because let's call them Reuven and Shimon are chasing after Levi's ox, Reuven's ox and Shimon's ox. So Reuven says Shimon's ox did it, and Shimon says Reuven's ox did it. So now they're patur because we don't know who did it, and the imayush, and we already learned the principle that the one who wants to make a claim has to prove he doesn't know whose ox did it. So they're patur. You can't. But imayush ne'en shel ish echad. But if both oxes were Reuven's ox, shnein chayavin. Now they're both chayavin. Now that's a very unusual lashon, and I'll give you the quick explanation for that. Is that first of all we're talking about a case of tam, so it's chatzin nezik, and secondly, we're talking. Remember, one of the laws of keren tam is that it's migufo. We pay from the one that does the damage. So the ox that does the damage, the payment is based on the size of the body of the damager. So if one of them was avad, this is a case where like one of the oxes disappeared, was lost, went away. So you only have one ox remaining. This is, by the way, the Gemara discusses this case. So it's not implied in all the words, but this is the case. Now, I think I may be jumping ahead here. Maybe let's go to Bartanor, because I think I was about to give a different Bartanor on this, and it was the wrong one. Let's see. Sorry about that.
I'm trying to catch it. Wait.
Sure.
Alif, here.
Okay.
Here it goes.
We already did
You see?
Yeah.
בסדר, דקה מתחכך היה בסדר. היו שניים רודפים אחר אחד.
Exactly, אחר אחד. שני שברים של שני בני אדם רודפים אחר שור של אדם אחד. Okay, so here's the case. שניהם פטורים. דתרוויהו מדחולה. So this is one I already explained. They're patur, they're exempt. This is the first case because each one claims the other one did it. Now we get to the one I wanted to explain that I was struggling to explain. It says shneim chayvim. Okay, so he says exactly what I was saying. Bagmara mifaresh. This is the case that is brought up in the Gemara. The Gemara explains this. Matnitin kigun shneim tamin. Like I said, so far I was on track that both of them were tam. she'en atam mishalem ela megufo. Exactly what I said. That a tam only pays from the body of the body of the damager. V'chi
It,
itnahu l'tarvayu itnahu l'tarvayu kaman mishtalem hanizak chatzi nisko miben shnehem. When there's when both of them this is really cool. So
yeah,
okay.
I can say that what it means that he pays from his body. It means that let's say that my ox was 100 and your ox was 200. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So now, no, let's say your ox was 300 and my ox is tam and it was only 100. So as we mentioned before, because my ox is tam, so I need to pay you half of your ox, right? But my ox was only 100 and half of your ox was 150.
Right.
So that's exactly what it means. It means that en ata meshalem ela migufo. It means that the maximum he can pay is all it worth for itself. So
Right.
if my ox is tam and it worth only 100, then the maximum I can pay you is 100, not more.
Right. Right.
That's what I understand in Bartanura.
Right. But here's the last sentence here.
And then he said, וכי יתנאו לתרוויו כמן, משתלם הניזק חצי נזקו מבין שניהם. He said that if these two oxes got the same owner, so they need to pay from מגופם של שניהם, from what they both worth. It's like double. Like let's say I have two oxes, 100 each. So now I can pay you still 200 because that's the maximum that the town can pay, no more, even if your ox was more than double. Then
I don't think that's what it's saying, or at least I would say it a little differently. I think what Barton was saying is that you v'chi itnuhu l'tarvayu kaman mishtalem nizak chatzin nisko miben shneim means that they have to both be present. It's not. That's why I'm struggling to say it. That if one of them disappeared, then you can't make the claim. But if they're both standing before them, because it's about now one of them for sure did the damage. If one of them had disappeared, it could be that the one that disappeared was the one that did the damage, and then you can't fulfill the halacha of migufo. That's what it's saying. So you have to, because then he continues about litnuhu litarvayu matzi amar zil aiti raya de hay Torah iskach ve'ashalem lach. Says if one of them is missing, then he says, all right, go ahead and bring me proof that the one that's right here is the one that did you the damage, and then I'll pay you. That's what Bartanur was saying. So, it's a case brought up in the Gemara. It's very specific. So we'll maybe go back to the Mishnah and finish this Mishnah. It continues some very interesting cases. Okay, here we go. הניזוקין שניים, אחד גדול ואחד קטן, והמזיקים שניים, אחד גדול ואחד קטן. הניזק אומר, גדול הזיק את הגדול וקטן את הקטן. מזיק אומר, לא כי, אלא קטן את הגדול וגדול את הקטן. So here we have another case, and there'll be still one more, where each side is jockeying for position. Each one's trying to make the case more favorably. So one of them is saying, there's a big one, and there's a little one. And the one that was damaged, it says the big one was the one that damaged the big one of mine, and the little one was the one that damaged the little one of mine. The reason why he's saying that is because since we pay migufo in a case of Karen and Tom, so in a case of Karen Tom, we want if it's the little one that damaged it, then he's not going to get anything. There won't be anything left to pay because it's migufo. It comes from his body, and that's why the one the one who did the damage, says the opposite. No. It's not that way. It's the little one that damaged the big one, and the big one that gored the little one. Because you can only pay up to the damage. So, like, if I have a little ox, and the little ox is worth 50 shekels, but the big ox is worth 200 shekels, and now and Chatzi Nezik is 100. You can only get paid up to the damage done of it was 50, so I lost 50 shekels on that. That's why each one wants to say, no. The big one that did the damage, each one wants to make the best case. The exact same thing, the final case. Echad tam ve'echad mu'ad, hanizak omer, mu'ad izik et hagadol, ve'tam et hakatan, u'mazik omer, lochi, et tam et hagadol, u'mu'ad et hakatan. So now we have a case of muad, and the one who was damaged says it was the muad that did the damage, because muad is nezek shalem. He wants to get the full damage, but the one who did the damage says no. It was the one, not the one that was muad. It was the one that was Tom that did the damage, because that way he only pays half the damage. And so the conclusion of the Gemara is, it sides with in a sense, with the one who does the damage. Not really, because it's just that the principle is the one who demands money has to bring proof. So that's a case of business law. So we've now learned this entire chapter 3 is more. Each one is building, as you can see on the other. The knowledge we gained in chapter 1, we needed in chapter 2. The knowledge we gained from chapter 2, we needed for chapter 3. And so we will build. By the time we get through the end of Bava Kama, we will have a very solid foundation in business law.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Gil. It was very interesting.
Thank you, Noam, and thanks for bringing